And then yet he has the gall, he has the courage to go out and belittle people who actually believe in a God who created the universe. I mean, it's just completely turning on its head, right? And today I have another interesting episode for you guys. Today we're going to be taking a look at a recent clip from Richard Dawkins, who is a very popular atheist and critic of religion. But he made a very intriguing statement recently on a podcast or an interview with Piers Morgan. So let's just jump straight into it and take a look at this.
Well, someone as logical as you are, and I believe you are, you think about this all very logically. A logical mind surely has to appreciate that before the Big Bang, there has to have been something before then. Otherwise, what is nothing?
A physicist will tell you that
Yeah, but what do you tell me?
I'm trying to tell you what a physicist would say first of all. They would say that you cannot use the word before for the Big Bang. Time began at the Big Bang. There was no before the Big Bang. I know it's contrary to common sense. Physicists don't necessarily deal with common sense.
Well, it makes no sense, does it? And that's what I mean. I think you're a logical man. That cannot make sense to you. The idea that you're not even allowed to use the word before the Big Bang, when every part of both of our brains tells us that that's obviously nonsensical, doesn't that make you think again?
We are not physicists. I, like you, am completely baffled by what physicists say to me, which is that you cannot use the word before for before the Big Bang. Time itself began at the Big Bang. Now that is totally counterintuitive. It's counterintuitive to me, it's counterintuitive to you, it's counterintuitive to Stephen Meyer, but we are not physicists. And you need to talk to a physicist. Talk to a physicist about that. And they will tell you that you cannot use the word before for the Big Bang.
Yeah, but you think that's as preposterous as I do.
I do because I'm not a physicist.
You've just written a book as a biologist called The Genetic Book of the Dead, in which you talk about the body and the genome, comprehensive dossiers and so on. So you're prepared to expound a philosophy based on that as a biologist, which I completely respect, and it makes perfect sense. The book makes perfect sense the way that you have written it. But why would you then think that a physicist cannot be contradicted just simply because they're a physicist? I could contradict what you say as a biologist.
No, you really aren't getting it. I'm so sorry. Modern physics is exceedingly mysterious. It really is. I mean, have you tried to read?
And then he carries on in his mystery mongering. So, according to Richard Dawkins, what modern physics says, or what modern physicists tell us about modern physics, we must accept, even though he himself admits that it doesn't make any sense at all. It completely goes against common sense. It's counterintuitive. It's irrational. It doesn't make any sense even to him. But no, we should just accept it because the modern physicists tell us this. Now, what is he referring to? He's referring to the modern physicists telling us that the world began somewhere around 14 billion years ago or so, and that it had a beginning in time, but yet didn't have any cause. There's no explanation for why it began to exist or had a beginning in time. There's really no explanation that the physicists have, according to Richard Dawkins. It had a beginning in time. There is no before. There is nothing before it. There's no God. There's nothing that got it started. So imagine like all of these dominoes, right? Going back and back and back in time. And there was a first domino, according to Richard Dawkins. There was a beginning in time, but there's no explanation. The first sort of domino just fell down without any explanation and started and knocked all of these other dominoes down. There's no explanation to where the first domino came from. It just popped into existence out of nothingness. There's no before the Big Bang, not in time, not in any material cause. There is no God or creator of what happened. So there's a Big Bang without about a big banger, so to speak. There is something that had a beginning in time, right? Which is the universe, but there's no explanation for how or where it came from or anything of the sort. And we're just supposed to buy into that. And then when Piers Morgan challenges Richard Dawkins on this, and I'm no fan of Piers Morgan, people on my channel know that already, but he did a decent job in challenging Richard Dawkins on some of the ridiculous statements that he was making. We should just believe in this because science says so, or the physicists tell us this. Even though I don't even believe that science says this. I mean, science doesn't speak, right? Physicists interpret the data, and they're the ones who are explaining this to us. Now, Richard Dawkins admits it doesn't make any sense to him. He doesn't really understand it, but he wants everyone else to believe in it. And if you don't believe in that, if you believe in a God who actually created the universe, right? Who created everything else that exists. If you believe in that, that's akin to fairy tales and movies and utter nonsense. But believing that the universe had a beginning in time out of nothingness and that doesn't have any cause whatsoever, doesn't have any explanation for its existence, that is perfectly rational. It doesn't make any sense to him, but yet we still should accept it because the physicists say so. I mean, how utterly ridiculous that is. And then yet he has the gall, he has the courage to go out and belittle people who actually believe in a God who created the universe. I mean, it's just completely turning on its head, right? So, and then he appeals to mystery. He says, well, modern physics is utterly mysterious. So it's okay when the scientists like Richard Dawkins and the atheists, they're allowed to appeal to mystery, but religious people or people who believe in God, Muslims, they're never allowed to appeal to mystery. They can't appeal to mystery in any case whatsoever. But scientists are allowed to appeal to mystery when it comes to modern physics and the origin of the universe, right? You see the utter hypocrisy, the double standards that these so-called rational atheists actually have. These rational scientists, they're the ones that are the reasonable people, right? That's what they've been trying to convince the West, the Muslims in the West. Oh, you guys believe in this backwards religious stuff. Come and actually affirm rational thought. Be thinking people. Think out of the box. Believe that things come into existence for no cause or any reason or explanation. And the universe had a beginning in time. We don't need to explain any of that. Just believe in it because the modern physicists tell us that it had a beginning. There's nothing before it. And so we don't have any explanation for it. And that's what makes sense. That's what they're trying to convince the Muslim youth. And this is meant to expose how ridiculous their standards are. They have double standards. How ridiculous their claim is that they are the rational ones and that we're not. Now, if you like this video and found it educational, guys, please consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell so you get notified of future videos. Like this video, share it on your social media platforms, no matter how big or how small your reach is. It really does help, guys. And if you want to go above and beyond and support the channel, then the best way to do so is at the GoFundMe link, which is pinned at the top of the description of this video, as well as my other videos, and also in the comment section of this video. Comment, guys. Let me know your thoughts. But until next time, inshallah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.